hidden in plain sight. There's a city that doesn't just govern a nation, it governs the planet. It isn't New York with its skyscrapers, nor Los Angeles with its media empire. This city has no need for glamour because its true power is invisible. This is the story of Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, and the nerve center of global control. But behind the monuments, the marble halls, and the waving flags lies a darker truth. Washington is less a city and more a marketplace of influence, power, and control that stretches across every continent. And if you think Washington only belongs to the American people, think again. For over 200 years, Washington, D.C. has been more than just the seat of government. It's a machine, a carefully engineered system where money buys access, access buys laws, and laws shape the world. Here, lobbyists represent trillion-dollar corporations. Defense contractors sell wars like products. Banks and hedge funds pull the strings on regulation. Foreign governments quietly purchase influence. This isn't democracy, it's business. And the business is control. Think about it. Every major war in the past century, every economic boom and crash, every global treaty and sanction, all trace back to Washington. It's the place where decisions are made that decide whether nations rise or fall. And yet most people only see the surface, the monuments, the White House tours, the televised speeches. But beneath it all is something far more dangerous, a hidden network of money and influence. Let's start with K Street. For those who don't know, K Street is the epicenter of lobbying in Washington. Every year, corporations, billionaires, and even foreign governments spend billions here to influence policy. From oil giants and pharmaceutical companies to Silicon Valley tech empires and Wall Street banks, everyone wants a piece of Washington. Why? Because laws are the ultimate product, and in Washington they're for sale. Consider this. In 2022 alone, lobbying spending in the U.S. surpassed $4 billion. That's more than most countries spend on their entire defense budget. And it works. Tax loopholes get written. Regulations vanish. Wars are funded. Industries are protected. But lobbying is just the visible part. Then there's the military-industrial complex, a term made famous by President Dwight Eisenhower in 1961. He warned the nation about the dangerous alliance between politicians, defense contractors, and the Pentagon. And he was right. Today, companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing don't just supply weapons, they influence foreign policy itself. Every war, every arms deal, every military intervention has a ripple effect that benefits the defense industry. When America goes to war, Washington wins. But it's not just corporations. Washington is also a magnet for foreign money. From Saudi princes to Russian oligarchs, from Chinese business conglomerates to European banks, foreign interests pour cash into D.C. They sponsor think tanks, fund political action committees, and hire lobbyists of their own. Because here's the truth. Controlling Washington doesn't just mean controlling America. It means controlling the world. And then, there are the shadow players. Not the politicians whose names you know, but the unelected insiders whose names you'll never hear. Staffers who draft legislation word for word from corporate memos. Regulators who go on to take jobs in the very industries they once oversaw. Generals who retire into cushy defense contracts. This revolving door between government and industry blurs the line between public service and private profit. And it's no accident. It's the system working exactly as intended. Washington is also the headquarters of global finance and diplomacy. Just a few blocks from the White House sits the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Together, these institutions dictate the economic futures of developing nations. Loans come with conditions. Cut social spending, privatize industries, open markets to foreign corporations. For struggling countries, the choice is simple. Obey or collapse. And where are those choices made? Not in Africa, not in South America, not in Asia, but in Washington. Even culture itself is shaped here. Hollywood may entertain, but Washington decides what stories are told. During the Cold War, movies and TV shows were influenced by propaganda campaigns designed in D.C. Even today. Pentagon approval can decide whether a blockbuster film gets access to military equipment for free. Control the narrative, control the world. But here's the strangest part. For all its global influence, Washington, D.C. isn't really a state. It's a federal district. Its citadel district, its citizens don't even have full representation in Congress. A city of nearly 700,000 people, run less like a democracy and more like a company town. And what's the product? Power. To understand Washington is to understand that nations aren't ruled simply by elections. They're ruled by money, influence, and access. The world looks at D.C. and sees democracy. But those who know better see something else. A city where decisions are auctioned off to the highest bidder. This is the secret city that controls the world not because of its monuments, but because of the invisible empire built within its walls. And the real question is, if Washington, D.C. has this much control over the world, who really controls Washington? That's the story we're about to uncover.